Well, hello again, and welcome to another edition of the Speed Bag. Today, a very special segment that I like to call Finally. Now, according to several credible sources, the state of New York is very close to legislation to regulate and legalize professional mixed martial arts events at long last. Now, we've been close to this milestone before, only to see legislation ultimately go nowhere, but this time it's really going to happen, probably. Now, I don't know about you personally, but for me, this is very exciting news because once this bill passes and the state of New York starts holding mixed martial arts events regularly, we will never have to hear about this issue ever again. You know, I dreamed of this day. Just never believed it would really come. The day when we could all shut up about MMA in New York. And don't get me wrong, I understand why it's a big deal. Of course, I understood that back in like 2008 when I was interviewing New York State assemblymen and writing stories about how ridiculous it was for the state to outlaw something like MMA and yet embrace, boxing, football, hockey, bull riding, $8 beers. And I get it, it's the biggest media market in the nation. Obviously, the UFC and its sponsors, they all want a piece of that. And if the final dumb walls of opposition to MMA are finally crumbling, that's good news. It helps further legitimize the sport, I guess. Honestly, maybe the sign of how legitimate MMA already is in mainstream American culture is the extent to which something like this feels like stupid news and not, actual news. It's like when your city realizes it has a 70-year-old law on the books outlawing chewing gum in public, and then it says, all right, we're going to get rid of that. You don't go dancing around in the streets over it as much as you love chewing gum in public. You just feel like, okay, good, our city got a little less stupid today. Really, this is what we're excited about? That the state of New York is, basically embracing the legislative agenda of 10 years ago? Maybe while they're at it, they'd like to pass some laws about medical marijuana. Oh, they did that already. Oh, okay. That's good too. Again, that's not to say that it's not a big deal. It's definitely a big deal, and it's good news. It's just also a really dumb deal that it even took this long. And honestly, once we get over this rush of enthusiasm, my guess is we'll pretty quickly forget that we ever cared this much about it. Seriously, when's the last time you watched a UFC event through your TV and found yourself sitting there going, oh, thank God, this one's in Pennsylvania? As long as you don't have Brazilian fans throwing beers in the cage or you're not making heavyweights fight in Denver or Mexico City, the actual location that the arena is set up in doesn't usually factor that much into the viewing experience as an MMA fan. And if you're a New Yorker who's just mad that you couldn't see an MMA event in your state, stop crying and go to New Jersey. They'll give you something to cry about. So good. New York is finally getting its act together. Good job, New York. Now please, pass the bill so we can all shut up about it. Forever.